Judaism has been imposed on the Goyim via deception through Christianity and Islam very clearly. And now we see in America that the Christians want, like I always say, and this is what Christianity teaches, Christians are globalist. They do want a new world order. They just want Moshiach ben David, Jesus, to be ruling the whole world. The law must come forth from Zion, the dwelling place of the God of Israel, Zion, that all Christians and all Muslims ultimately stem from. Abrahamic conspiracy goes back 2,500 years, been dominating humanity, and still, like we're in the twilight zone, completely dominating, theologically conquered humanity. It is. It's a sick blood magic sacrificial cult. Lisa Rennis says, Adam tells us the truth. Oh, I don't tell you anything that I don't show you. I show you everything for every claim I make. Paper Jesus, a new account I just started following on Twitter, says, Adam, you and CJB, Christopher John Bjerknes, woke me up from my 40-year Jew spell. Thank you so much. That is so awesome to hear, Paper Jesus. I just gave him a follow on Twitter. And I actually hear a lot of people saying this right now. And it is something that we need to do. Deprogram all of the world, all of the Goyim, that they've been brainwashed by fake Jewish prophecies, and they are hypnotized under a Hebrew spell, a fake prophecy, magic, deception to theologically conquer the world. So all flesh will worship their God. And that's exactly what happened. All right, so we're going to talk about the Christian Zionist New World Order today is the topic. And it's going to be so much more evidence. I mean, every day I can't even keep up. Just hours of material every day. I've been doing this since 2014, probably 2016 full time. So much material proving all this stuff. We're going to be exposing Alex Jones some today. The whole Trump shill controlled opposition Christian Zionist temple cult who we're going after today. And I want to start with some little memes that I made from some books from Michael Collins Piper in the early 2000s, I think 2005 and 2008, had Trump already pinned as a Zionist frontman and predicted the rise of Zionist MAGA. And MCP didn't even know the extent of it. He died, I think, 2012-ish, so he didn't get to see the rise of Trump and how accurate his predictions were. In his book, 2005, The New Jerusalem, Zionist Power in America, he says, Trump, this chapter all about Trump, called Who Towers Behind Trump, The Strange Story of the Donald. And it says he's a colorful front man for some very wealthy behind-the-scenes sponsorship of Jewish interests. And I mean, I'm surprised he didn't include in the book that Trump donated to the ADL. In 1982, he won the top JNF Jewish National Fund Tree of Life Award. The JNF was founded by Theodor Herzl, the first World Zionist Congress. That's the high-level award that Trump says, it's what I'm all about. It's my favorite award. I'm so proud of this. He shows it. I've done videos, showed it many times. It says the people behind Resorts International, he claims Rockefeller and Rothschild, and its allied intelligence agencies, Israel's Mossad. Trump's dad was buying bonds, Israeli bonds, investing in Israel. He was donating land for yeshivas and synagogues to be built in New York. Trump's dad was close friends with Netanyahu in the early 80s as well. Trump's daughter married into a Chabad Lubavitch billionaire family, the Kushners. He says here, there's no doubt, considering the origins of Resorts International, that Trump was bailed out by the Rothschilds when he was $4 billion in debt. There's no doubt, considering the origins of Resorts International, that Trump could not have assumed the management in this enterprise if he had not had the covert support of those who brought it into being. Taking all the Adelson money, groveling to AIPAC, giving Netanyahu the keys to the city. It's like, I did a video a while back about Trump being the Antichrist with a Christian guy on Twitter, Donnie Darkened. And I really do think that they are following a script, and he is filling the role of Antichrist for him. They say that the Messiah will come out of Edom. They call Trump the leader of Edom. They say the Messiah, son of David, was ruddy, so he was red, very much like how Trump is so red in his orange makeup. And so it says here, Trump, a major character on the American scene, is evidently not of Jewish descent. He definitely owes much of his patronage of the Zionist elite. And we see the Abraham Accords, we see the executive orders to cut down on anti-Semitism, doing nothing for censorship. Just everything for Israel. Gave the keys to the country to Netanyahu. Says on a radio show that Israel literally completely controlled Congress, but quote, rightfully so. And we still have these fake America firsters worshiping Trump like he's king and a messiah and the Christian savior. Also, Michael Collins Piper, in his book Judas Goats, says here, talking about Fox News, Murdoch Media, Fox News, is busy promoting the interest of the Zionist movement. Although Murdoch and his media play the game of providing an alternative, they are in fact providing a controlled opposition. Alex Jones is the same story. Keeping the conservative and traditional American ranks in line, touting the Zionist cause as an American one. Make America great again was very clearly make Israel great again. Jared Kushner and all his power in the White House and where his loyalties obviously lie with Israel. Touting the Zionist cause as an American one, a cause that is fully in line with not just making America great again in the image of Ronald Reagan, but which became Trump's campaign slogan, but in reality making America an empire and one that is ruled by the Zionist elite. Oh, and just coincidentally, Murdoch's wife, I think the Chinese wife or Chinese girlfriend, hooked up Ivanka and Jared on a yacht, even. At least that's the story that we're told. And also, Rupert Murdoch's other ex-wife was into Kabbalah as well. So look that up. And so also we have here, so it's ruled by the Zionist elite, and pretty soon they're going to call anybody that calls this out domestic terrorists. And anybody's a domestic terrorist, those who stand in the way of the New World Order, which is nothing more than the longtime Zionist dream of world conquest. And their power is rooted in the fact that the non-Jewish world believes in their God, believes in and defends and affirms their Torah, believes they were still or ever elevated to the divine status of God's chosen people and the nation of priests. And we see this playing out. What we get with Christianity, Christianity is controlled opposition. There's no question about it. There's been no refutations of any of the stuff that I've been putting out on my channel. I've been wrecking these guys in debates. And it's obvious that Christianity are the greatest servants, and it's not just this denomination or it's just subverted recently. It was always set up to do this. And they're using Christianity, using Esau. Esau will live by the sword. Esau will serve Jacob. That's their allegorical meaning, is Christianity will serve the Jews. First, here's from Legends of the Jews. This is from the Sepharia, the Jewish database. Legends of the Jews by Louis Ginsburg. Talking about Israel and Rome. So Jacob and Esau. One will exceed the other in strength. First, Esau, or the Christians, will subjugate the whole world through Christianity. That's really just Judaism for the Gentiles. But in the end, Jacob, the Jews, will rule over all. This has been the plan, to use Christianity. The top rabbis brag about it. Maimonides says, oh, it's fulfilling God's plan and doing the work to prepare the world for Messiah, spreading the commandments and spreading the Torah. Dennis Prager, I just did a video, was bragging about it. Dr. Brown says it, has rabbis on that say it. It's like the rabbis boast of it. The older of the two, the Gentiles, will serve, because they were the firstborns of chaos, the firstborn theme of being evil, Cain, polluted with the serpent of Samael and Lilith. They literally think we're satanic and scapegoated us to turn themselves into the victims by targeting the Gentiles with an anti-Semitic religion where they like almost hated Jews, but like will ultimately end up loving them and worshiping their God all along the way. Getting upset. Imagine coercing your enemy to get upset that your enemy rejected their Messiah that was meant to rule over you and the Gentiles, and tricking you and thinking that that's a win. Here's Zohar. So the serpent deceived Adam and his wife. He brought death into the world, and the world was punished because of him until the tree of life, Jesus, the Satan, who brings the gnosis, that the same one that the serpent offered, lifting the serpent up on the pole. The early Gnostic Jewish sects were serpent worshippers. So the tree of life, which, as Bjerknes has explained lately, the tree of death, atoned for Adam, as Jesus atoned the ransom atonement to the serpent for deceiving Adam. So they subjugated the serpent. The Jews, by killing Jesus, subjugated the serpent so that the serpent seed, the Gentiles, will never rule the seed of Jacob. Kabbalah Online, Chabad's website, says the children of Edom. Edom is the Christian West. Edom represents Esau and Rome, the Greco-Roman Gentile world, the foundations of Western civilization. And it's just, there's a just open shut case, irrefutable, indisputable, the evidence laid out about this Edom, Esau, Amalek genocidal plan. And how is this not taken off? How are more people not interested in this? I see more interest in retarded drama all over the internet of people just watching shows that just make fun of people all day, or just the Christ grifters all over the place, the Q peddlers all over the place, all the leftist gatekeepers on the other side, just full spectrum dominance, communism and Zionism. So it says here in the Talmud, to eradicate the descendants of Esau. That's descendants, that's nations. This is not metaphorical for some type of evil inclination or negative spirits. They are talking about, as I just played the rabbi the other day, it's up on the BitChute. I could play it real quick. He talks about how their enemies, Esau and Jacob, will be, Esau and Amalek will be destroyed. Let's see, where is that? Oh, that's the 14-minute one. Here we go.
Unfortunately, the descendants of the enemies of our people that were enemies to our people from day first are still hating us.
So they're talking about Amalek and Esau, the descendants of Amalek and Esau, which they consider the West. I just showed you. Chabad says the West. They all say it's the West. Only the apologists and people that are trying to cover up will not acknowledge this.
In the commandment of their ancestors, the children of Esav that hates Yaakov, the children of Amalek that hates Yaakov, the children of all the ones that had that black bitterness instead of a soul.
They believe that we're born evil, hating them for no reason. Black, darkness, impure, they're the holy seed, we're the unholy seed. How are they able to get away with all of this? I'll tell you why. Because Christianity, because the Christianity deception, brainwashing the Goyim to worship their God, via this rejection of their first Messiah deception. I'm telling you, through Christianity, the Jews imposed Torah messianism on the whole world. There's no disputing it.
That black, dark, horrible, depressed, negative, and awful shadow as a poor replacement.
The Kelly pot, this is what the Kelly pot represents also, which is likened to the Gentiles. Our souls come from the evil other side, the Sitra Atra, and are polluted with the serpent. Like, there's just YouTube, Jewish articles all over the internet saying these things, rabbis all over YouTube saying these things. And somehow everybody wants to talk about the Khazarians, or it's just the Sabbatean Frankist, and the Jews are being scapegoated, and they're just a boogeyman, or it's really the Chicoms and the Muslims are the real threats. How is everybody not seeing the obvious domination of the Abrahamic conspiracy? It's half the world. Half the world believes in Abrahamic faiths.
For a soul, still hating us, still jealous, still don't know what to do with our goodness. We're not being digested to their felonies and crimes. We're not melting into their hatred and to their false blames. We keep on producing goodness and beauty and shine out to the world, and they can't stand it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Exactly. So to eradicate the descendants of Esau, like he just said, they'll be destroyed. Here's just another random one that I found on my phone. I had screenshotted, haven't covered for a while, or maybe ever. This is Book of Jubilees 22. May nations serve thee, and all the nations bow themselves down before thy seed. And how did they do this? How did they achieve this? With the Jesus myth, the fictional Jewish superhero deception. And now Christians everywhere, as we're going to get into, just worshiping them as God's chosen people, bowing to their wall. You're cursed if you curse them, blessed if you bless them. I mean, it's so obvious a scam, convincing everybody that you were chosen by God, and your goal being to get everybody to believe that. That's what happened. Book of Jubilee, separate thyself from the Goyim, and eat not with them, and do not according to their works, and become not their associate, for their works are unclean. This is what the Chabad founder says, that our souls are unclean, impure, come from the evil other side, the Kelly pot, the Sitra Atra. And then they call us white supremacists. Anybody that calls them out, they call them a supremacist. They try to dismiss it and to say, "Oh, you're anybody that criticizes Jews is a Nazi, so you're dismissed and banned everywhere." Meanwhile, they're getting away with this kind of stuff as their religion, and all their ways are pollution and abomination and uncleanness. As for all the worshipers of idols and the profane, so they coerce the Gentiles into worshiping Jesus, who they set up as a false Messiah, idol worship, representing Satan to tempt the Jews with idol worship. He is their anti-Messiah. That's why they hate him, but on a superficial level. He's ultimately benefiting them. So there will be no hope for them in the land of the living. And profane and idol worshipers, they consider Esau, all Gentiles, inclined to idol worship. The story goes that Esau, in the womb, fighting with Jacob, whenever it would walk by a house of idol worship, that he would kick and cause a ruckus. So he was inclined to idol worship. And our souls, of course, are profane as well. So this is what they fantasize for the future. And there will be no remembrance of them, i.e. Amalek, i.e. Esau. There will be no remembrance of them on earth, for they will descend into Sheol, which I think probably means hell. The grave of the abode of the dead, from Psalms 88. So it's very loving. You know, we would not have any morals without these great Jewish prophets. European people, other nations could never build civilization and know how to behave ourselves if it weren't for the great wisdom of the Jewish sages, God's chosen people and nation of priests. Okay, why is this not? Oh, that's why. So all very disturbing. And it's just amazing how so little people are willing to talk about this, and how many gatekeepers there are out there, and how many people are scared of losing their tithes from the Christians. Let's see. Jack Acid says, please bring up the JQ if you get a chance. Is that a joke? Say No to Yahweh says, the red Kabbalah bracelet is similar to the scarlet string on the sin-laden goat of Yom Kippur, making those fool celebrities sacrificial goats. Secondly, Les Wexner needs a look. He's tied to Epstein and is an Israel connection. Oh, obviously. Oh yeah, we've looked into Les Wexner. A lot of other people have done deep dives on Les Wexner as well. Mega Group, Chabad connected, all types of connected with our new anti-Semitism czar, Deborah Lipstadt. Enemy of Zog says, Adam, king of the Kelly pot. I like that. Oh my God, that's my new title. I'm changing that on Twitter right now. Keep working hard. Appreciate your shows. The Joker. Thanks, Joker. You've been awesome. King of the Kelly pot. Adam meant reputations. Says, I am Amalek. Dubious 07. Thank you. Derek says, but we're the real Jews. They are Esau. We're Jacob. I know. That's another level of the psyop of the controlled opposition dialectic. These Christian identity people that think, oh, that the white people are the real Jews and we're the real chosen ones and we're Jacob and they're Edom. Like, just mirroring their mental illness gives them a pass on their mental illness and distracts away from the fact that these Judaists believe these supremacist genocidal things. Instead, we hear, we have the covenant now. They're the synagogue of Satan. All of these things that just make us Gentiles lose the moral high ground, turn us into the villains, that we could be easily discredited with these ridiculous, immoral red herrings that turns the Jews into the victims. It's textbook controlled opposition. They thrive off of anti-Semitism. It's their religion to be hated. Dubious says, the Islamic Khazarian Jesuit Chicoms are behind all of this. Didn't you hear? Yeah. Exactly. The one group you're not allowed to say that it is without being attacked and smeared and deplatformed everywhere and blacklisted. That one group where it's the most evidence, the most hard evidence that you can point out, which I've documented over the years, and just dismissed. They're able to get away with it. Now, moving on to some of the shilling. I've been exposing Alex Jones as a Zionist shill since 2015, late 2015, right before Trump won. I finally turned on him after years of being suspicious about the Zionist gatekeeping. So it's 7 years now I've been exposing Alex Jones. This is the type of guy Alex Jones has hosting his fourth hour now, Wayne Allen Root. He's a Jewish guy that tells you every time you see him a million times that he's Jewish. He's a Jewish Christian, the type of Christian that who knows if he really believes. It's like just convenient, though, of course, a Jewish Christian because they hate Jesus so much, right? Wayne Allen Root, the guy that said that Trump is the king of Israel and that God anointed him to save Israel, is guest hosting the fourth hour on InfoWars once a week. The type of guest that Alex Jones has. This guy.
Don't forget, I don't know if you haven't watched the show, I happen to be Jewish by birth, and 75% of all Jews vote Democrat, and they don't like Trump. And this is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world, not just America. Trump's the best president for Israel in the history of the world.
And think of pretending that like you're not a Zionist and then worshiping this guy that he's the savior and saying that he's anointed by God and a king and stuff. Are we going to see a resurrection of Trump? Is he going to have a second coming? He wrote a book, The Art of the Comeback, a few years ago. He also wrote another book that had some Kabbalah influence in it. So Trump retweeted this.
And the Jewish people love him like he is the king of Israel. They love him like he is the second coming of God.
Just like Jesus, they call him anti-Semitic, but he ultimately benefits them and is a Zionist, just like all Christians are Zionists, because they all believe in the Zionist prophecies of the Old Testament.
The chosen one, chosen one. I am the chosen one.
Yeah, Jay Dyer hosts a fourth hour as well, too. The guy that the ortho Russia shill that's scared to debate me. I've already won the debate. He's scared to debate. He won't refute anything I'm covering. He's selling boner pills like Alex Jones. All these people saying Trump is going to be anointed by God and he's going to save the Jews. Pompeo says God's going to save the Jews. Here's Wayne at Allen Root on InfoWars yesterday.
Years of Hillary finishing the job and destroying America once and for all. Who saved us? Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a bit of a barbarian. You don't like his tweets. They're too vicious. Look at the Bible. The Bible's filled with vicious people sent by God to save us and to save the Jews. They're not nice guys. They kill people. They smite people. Donald Trump was a barbarian sent by God to save us. You don't wait around for God. God sends people with his message. So there are people you need to follow. Now,
the way that people are Christians are such sheep. They're so easily led like a flock by feeding them religion. It's been how they've been controlling humanity for 2,000 years. This Abrahamic mythology. Here's the extended clip. He says Alex Jones is sent by God as well.
Alex Jones in a commercial just now, commercial for vitamins, talking about God helps those who help themselves. You know, I love Alex, and that's my favorite saying. I didn't know Alex loves that saying too. God helps those who help themselves. I got to tell you a funny joke that I always thought was one of my favorite jokes of all time. You know, the floodwaters are rising, and a guy is running.
In this 40-minute video I watched on BitChute this morning, he literally mentioned that he was Jewish like 10 times, and he found a way to bring up the Holocaust 10 times as well.
For his life, he's going higher and higher and higher. Finally gets to the top of a 20-story building, and it keeps rising. The floods rising, and he keeps saying, "Don't worry about me. God's going to save me. Everything will be okay." He's praying on his knees. God save me. God save me. I know it'll be okay. You're going to save me. And a guy comes along in a rowboat, and he says, "Come on in. I'll save you." And he says, "No, I'm waiting for God. Don't worry about me. God will save me." Second guy comes in a rowboat the next day, and he says, "Don't worry about me. God will save me. I don't need your rowboat." Third guy comes in a rowboat. Third day, he says, "Don't worry about me. You go. I don't need a rowboat. God will save me." On the fourth day, the floodwaters get higher, and he drowns. And he gets up to heaven. He says, "God, where were you? Why didn't you save me?" And God says, "Hey, schmuck, I sent you 3 rowboats." And I've always thought that's one of the best jokes of all time, and so true. You like that, Patar? And so true, because I think it applies to America. America is going under. We're in economic collapse soon. We're in food collapse.
Oh yeah, I've noticed a lot of these people are like encouraging the collapse of America. They're also saying the solution is to break up America. So to make America great again, they want to break up and have these states secede and set up, split America apart, basically. Which I'll tell you, the Soviets would sure love to see that. That'd be some good revenge. Hey, they also have prophecies of destroying Edom in America. So they fulfilled the prophecy of returning the Jews to Israel. They can engineer the end times prophecies as well, the end times wars, the destruction, the Armageddon. These religious psychopaths want to actively hasten the Messiah.
Collapse. We're in border collapse. We're in energy collapse. It's a disaster. Supply chain collapse. I believe because of the vaccines, we'll soon be in military collapse. The soldiers will all be dead, in sick bay, quit, fired, you name it. We're in pilot collapse. Look at the travel delays and cancellations every day, and especially on weekends and especially on holidays. Wait till you see coming up on July 4th, nightmares because of the vaccine. And we're in health collapse.
Thanks to Trump. They always give Trump a pass for all of his vaccine shilling and his warp speed bragging all the time. They're so anti-vaccine, but then they still give Trump a pass for the vaccine. It's creepy. It's almost like taking the mark in a way. Trump famously said that he could shoot somebody in a big city and nobody would care. They'd still support him. And that really is true.
And so people say to me, don't worry, Wayne, God's got us. God will save America. Maybe God is sending you rowboats. Maybe the rowboat's Wayne Root. Maybe the rowboat's Donald Trump. Maybe the rowboat's Alex Jones. Maybe the rowboat is Ron DeSantis, Governor DeSantis of Florida. But in the end, God works through people. God wants you to
so many fake prophets, so manipulative to try to tell your audience that God is speaking through you or God has chosen you to give them the truth. America is being judged. We will have revival or collapse. The Christian are working on advancing the Zionist agenda. It's undoubtedly, no question about it. It's following God's divine plan for Edom to be destroyed. And they even think, oh, that's fulfilling prophecy. That's what's supposed to happen. Now, this is just to see even more evidence. I got attacked by the ADL in their article on January 7th, right after the storming of the Capitol. The ADL attacked me in an article titled "Zionist and Jews Implicated in January 6th." And now we're going to just show, I've already done several videos on this showing all the proof, the shofar, all the Orthodox magazine guy, the Orthodox judge's son, the Jewish COVID lady, the Libs of TikTok Orthodox girl. There were so many Israeli flags, all engineered by the QAnon Zionist controlled opposition and the controlled alt media. Zionist propagandists like Roger Stone, Flynn, Alex Jones. So this is at the Willard Hotel the day before and the day of January 6th, the storming of the Capitol. Roger Stone here, the Willard Hotel with Alex Jones, InfoWars, and Roger Stone booked suites with large common rooms. Both of these photos are from the suites they booked on January 5th and 6th. It just came out that Trump was in contact with Roger Stone on the phone at the Willard Hotel leading up to January 6th as well, with Flynn there. And look at this guy here, Owen Schroyer there as well. Look at the company they're keeping. You know, this is for the ADL about Zionists implicated, okay? Look at this guy. This is Pastor Mark Burns. Pastor Mark Burns tweets like this: "I'm thankful that real Donald Trump will stand up for Israel unlike Obama. Jews are God's chosen people. We stand with Israel." Okay, there's a Zionist in the war room with who the establishment is saying were the architects of January 6th. Ali Akbar, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, all these people. Flynn, Mike Lindell will stand literally believing that they're chosen people. Here's another one from Pastor Mark Burns. This is the company that Alex Jones and Roger Stone and Owen Schroyer were keeping on January 6th. God promised in his word that he would bless those that bless Israel. Today is a special historic day as the U.S. moves our embassy to the rightful place in Jerusalem. Thank you, Trump. Promises made, promises kept. God bless Jerusalem, Israel, and USA. This is what we get with Christianity in America. And then the Christians are saying, oh, we just need real Christianity and then it'll be okay. It's like, no, this is real Christianity. Christianity isn't real. This real is what the Christianity, the fruits of the Christians. This is the Christians that are in power. This is the ones that are influencing people. This is the ones that have the money. This is, in essence, Christianity, whether you like it or not. Here's Pastor Mark Burns discussing Israeli-American relations with Israel Defense Forces. There would be no Christian Zionism without Christianity. Don't forget that. Just, pastors hanging out with Alex Jones, hanging out with the IDF, no big deal. Oh, remember? This reminds me. Roger Stone, Jerome Corsi, Jerusalem. Funny how mainstream media, none of these leftists on Twitter ever want to get into this very much. Redacted FBI documents hint at Israel efforts to help Trump in 2016 via Alex Jones employees Roger Stone and Jerome Corsi. They redacted out the Israeli. He was high level connected to Benjamin Netanyahu, the article speculates. I thought I had some highlights still, but they apparently are gone. Oh, but don't listen to Adam. Jones isn't a Zionist agent. He hasn't been a Zionist propagandist. Give me a break. The evidence is so overwhelming. Okay, this is what Jerusalem said. Roger Stone, who was in contact with one or more apparently well-connected Israelis at the height of 2016 U.S. Presidential campaign, one of whom warned Stone that, there's the highlights, that Trump was going to be defeated unless we intervene. One of whom, so a high-level Israeli in Jerusalem warned Stone that Trump was going to lose unless they, quote, intervened. Why is there no hearings about Israeli collusion? They're able to get away with open, not just collusion, but domination. And then he promised, quote, the Israeli promised Roger Stone, we have critical intel. The exchange between Stone and this Jerusalem-based contact appears in FBI documents made public on Tuesday. On name redacted, Stone returning to D.C. after urgent consultations with Prime Minister in Rome must meet with Wednesday even with Donald Trump Thursday in New York City. Netanyahu made a state visit to Italy at the end of June 2016. So meeting, Netanyahu's connected there apparently. He's going to be, the key is in your hands. Back in the U.S. next week. The key is in Roger Stone's hands. They've been promoting this Stone thing. That there's this prophecy of Roger Stone that he would be. Kim Clement goes, "Oh, the stone! Remember that word, a stone." So it's like they've got him. They've got this whole thing scripted out. So this is, and this is just a couple of his tweets. Here's Roger Stone the morning of, and all of the leftists will say, oh, if this is Christian nationalism. They won't tell you that Christianity is a front and controlled opposition for Judaism, for the Kabbalah-ridden QAnon controlled operation. It's like the same exact template as the Operation Trust that the Soviets did, and of Christianity, the original Trust the Plan. So you saw the tweets. That's who Schroyer's hanging out with on January 6th. ADL. Is that guy a Zionist? Am I an anti-Semite for saying Zionists are involved? Here's Roger Stone the morning of.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. So hopefully we have this today, right?
We shall see.
We shall see. We're hoping so.
This is my Jewish brother. Excellent. Talk to Roger Stone. How are you? Support you. Excellent. Vote for Trump. You know I'm a Zionist. Right? There you go. Again, 100% Zionist. You do. How are you? Thank you. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
The area. So I'm away from
So here's Roger Stone on Instagram. A supporter gave me this tiny book, the Zohar, where Kabbalah is based upon. I carry it with me always. I pray it protects me from the fake news media who are smearing me and purposely misinterpreting everything I say. Here's you guys wouldn't even believe this. 2008, Wayne Madsen wrote an article for Infowars.com titled "The GOP and Israelis Running Honey Traps." And who does he pin at the center of this honey trap, Epstein-esque type of blackmail ring? Longtime GOP dirty tricks operative Roger Stone allegedly had a piece of the action in the Emperor's Club VIP. Emperor's Club VIP, the head of the VIP is 62-year-old Mark Michael Brenner. A New York judge ordered Brenner held without bail because he's considered a flight risk to Israel. Federal law enforcement agents reportedly recovered 2 Israeli passports from his home, where Brenner lived with Sue Wall, a female who was also arrested by the FBI. FBI agents also recovered $600,000 in cash in his apartment. He had been a U.S. citizen for 20 years. He was a former official with the Israeli Tax Authority. Oh, and remember Roger Stone and Matt Gaetz, who's buddies with Laura Loomer. Roger Stone, Matt Gaetz, and what was the guy's name? Greenberg, I think it was. Here. Roger Stone had been playing all sides of the Gates scandal. Matt Gaetz' campaign paid $20,000 to Trump crony Roger Stone. Where is it with this? Joel Greenberg says Matt Gaetz paid for sex with minor. There's a photo of them all together. Here, we'll just show you the photo. It'll come up, I'm sure. There, Roger Stone, Matt Gaetz, and Joel Greenberg, the guy who got busted for sleeping with underage women. I believe it was. So now Alex Jones is hanging out with this guy. Here's Roger Stone pictured with Robert David Steele, the guy that was one of the big promoters. He was a freaking guest on InfoWars until he said some wacky shit about slave bases on Mars. This guy, Robert David Steele, was promoting all of these QAnon disinformation agents being used to discredit. Meeting with Roger Stone, who also alludes to QAnon theories and even says he's a born again Christian and that there's a demonic portal above the White House. Roger Stone, and who tells Trey Smith on InfoWars in studio, the Christian Zionist documentary filmmaker, he says, "Oh, I believe the prophecies. I believe the Trump prophecies." Robert David Steele, who's was one of the top channels on BitChute promoting all of these Trump Putin shills like Charlie Ward, Simon Parks, who's Jewish also, and literally believes that his mother's an alien or some dumb shit. Stone, who's close with Alex Jones, RT, another Sasha Stone. He promotes Mel K, X22, SGT Report, all these people. Huge videos with Mel K, the Zionist disinformation agent on BitChute. Roger Stone. Let's see what else I got on Stone. Just said, I'm 100% Zionist, he says. And huge supporter of Laura Loomer. Connected with the Proud Boys, who are founded by Gavin McInnes, who is a Zionist working for Ezra Levant at Rebel Media. And oddly enough, connected to Vice as well. Roger Stone trying to have his Christian image rehabilitated to get his pardon so he could play this role of promoting the Christian nationalism agenda with Gab and Lauren Witzke and True News, who calls themselves the New Zionist. True News, who has a menorah in their logo and who believes that they're the true Israel. Like, is it not obvious that this is a controlled opposition dialectical religion? Whether these people are in on it or sincere and well-intentioned and just brainwashed and indoctrinated, who will ever know? I mean, did the Levite priest or the rabbis or the priests or the Jews or the Hebrews or the Israelites, or what do you want to call them, the authors, the actual authors of the Torah? Because it's delusional to think that Moses was dictated it by God and came down from Mount Sinai and the whole world saw it. Any Gentile that validates that lie is inherently a mind control slave of the Jews. Do I have a video here? No, it's just a screenshot. Yeah, with all his Proud Boys guys, all his Proud Boys who they use to smear as white supremacist and anti-Semitic, but really just ultimately are playing into the hands of the Zionists, founded by Zionists. Like Joe Biggs, who worked for InfoWars, top Proud Boy, who literally attacked me and said, "Oh, you're scared of Israel. Israel's a little country. You're just scared of them. You're a pussy. You're scared of Israel." Former military Biggs. Worked for InfoWars for years. Okay, let's carry on here. The type of company InfoWars keeps. Oh, yeah, the rest of the tweets from this Pastor Mark Burns. He's got so many tweets about Israel. Just pure obsessed with Israel. Great to be able to thank President Trump personally in the Oval Office for recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Isn't he doing an amazing job? This is what you're going to get more of when all of these guys bring Trump back in. You're going to get Zionist Ziocracy. Like they literally are cheering along. They're calling for bridesmaid's tale. They want to see a Christian Zionist complete theocracy in America and the world. And this is what Christianity calls for. And like I showed you, that's the plan. Esau will first subjugate all the world, but it'll be in the control of the Jays in the end. That's what Christianity was always designed to do. Bjerknes uncovered this. It's related to Yom Kippur and the persecutor turning into the advocate. It's explained in many places. So this is who Alex Jones, Flynn, Roger Stone, Owen Schroyer, we're all hanging out with. I stand with Rep. Gosar. Rep. Gosar, the other congressman that's involved with Fuentes and the Groypers, the good Christian that's going to save America. He literally does a press release from his website. Gosar, here it is. Gosar, who throws a hissy fit, based Gosar wants the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa removed from the Temple Mount so the third Jewish temple can be built. Another Zionist shill. And this is the guy that Fuentes is teamed up with. Fuentes and Gosar. Although he apparently has disavowed him recently. But here's Gosar now, okay? This is the type of Christianity that's going to liberate us from the Zionist control, is what these controlled opposition figures want you to believe. Here's Gosar. It remains, and this is just, hold on, what year was this? Oh, wait, there it was. 2021. Gosar, press release on his own website. Gosar objects to UN effort to remake Jewish temple an Islamic site. He says, it remains an abomination that a mosque was allowed to be built over this temple. The United Nations should be finding ways to dismantle and move the mosque, which is an affront to all religions, concluded Congressman Gosar. He says here, Gosar issued the following statement in response to the United Nations vote to categorize the holiest Jewish temple in Jerusalem as belonging to Islam and Christianity. The recent vote by the United Nations disavowing Jewish historical ties and exclusivity to the Temple Mount, the holiest and most sacred temple in Judaism, is an outrage. There's no temple there, by the way, right now. They want to rebuild it. Gosar is part of the Third Temple cult. Yeah, they're after my stream again. It'll be archived up on BitChute and here later on. They're not stopping it. Maybe just messing with the live stream. Who knows? The sacred temple in Judaism is an outraged act of religious persecution. This is a transparent effort supported by 129 nations but opposed by the United States to rewrite history. Cleanse the whole holy area. Is that a good argument? The whole world is against this but us. Like we're so obviously their slaves. Cleanse the holy area of its religious ties to the Jewish faith and deny that Israel has roots to the Middle East. No one can simply vote to erase historical and religious events. This vote coming during Hanukkah is particularly ill-conceived at its core. There's Paul Gosar for you. Good one, Chosenberg. Here's the Temple Mount Institute or some temple organization leader with the Rebbe. Israel is not interested in peace. Okay, so that's based. This is based to Groypers. Marjorie Taylor Greene is another one. Another one of these. Oops. I stand with Paul Gosar in standing to protect the Temple Mount in Israel. As Israel's former ambassador to the U.S. has said, to deny the Temple Mount is to deny the gospel. The UN proposed removal of the Jewish claim to the holy site is tantamount to ethnic cleansing. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I didn't even see that one. Goes on, I'll be on Fox News discussing Obama's fallout against the UN. Oh, I remember Alex Jones kvetching about Obama and the UN as well. Stand with Israel. So there's no disputing it now. These guys are all Zionist-controlled opposition. Okay. Here's Flynn. CNP connected Flynn. All these guys are associated with the CNP. Ali Akbar as well. CNP. Jerome Corsi, CNP, the Council for National Policy. Tim LaHaye. John Swin's done some good videos exposing some of their stuff. I learned about it from We've Read the Documents, who is a hard-nosed Christian. Here's Flynn. If we're going to have one nation under God, which we must, we have to have under the God of Israel. They want the whole world to bow to the God of Israel, to the Hebrew deity, the fake God that the Jews created that claimed that they were chosen by.
And they're talking about the United States of America. Talking about the United States of America, because when Matthew mentioned it in the Bible, he wasn't talking about the physical ground that he was on. He was talking about something in the distance. So if we are going to have one nation under God, which we must, we have to have one religion, one nation under God and one religion under God, right? All of us together, working together. And they're talking about the United States of America. Talking about the United States to have one religion, one nation under God and one religion under God, right?
One nation, one world under God. They want a new world order, a Zionist new world order, a Judeo-Abrahamic new world order. Apparently, people are letting me know that my Odysee just went down, so we're not streaming anywhere right now. Perfect. Yeah. Tweets are coming in saying that it's not working. Also, great. Try refreshing. Try lowering the video rate. So they're promoting this. Fuentes was promoting this on his show last night. Alex Jones always bringing on Zelenko as well to promote Noahide laws, and pagans are the ultimate enemy, and we got to decapitate the violators of the Noahide laws. Zelenko, the Chabadnik, the somehow leader of COVID, the anti-COVID movement. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene again saying Christian nationalism is a good thing. Of course, she hires Milo. Milo was hired at True News with Lauren Witzke, the Putin shill. Pretty much anybody, whether willing or not, anybody at this point that's promoting Jesus as the solution is working on behalf of the. That's what Christians do. They're doing the work of the Jews by spreading the belief, getting the whole world to worship the Torah Messiah, the Davidic king. David was the king of Judah, the Judeo king, the Davidic holy chosen line.
Terrifies. You see,
she spoke at the Groyper event and got her biggest applause when she says, Jesus and Christ is king, and she's washed in the blood.
You see, nationalism is a good thing. It's where all Americans should be. We should be wanting America first. We should be wanting our tax dollars, our focus, our legislation, our bills, and our leadership focused on our nation. We should be proud of nationalism, and we should be proud of an America first nationalism. And then lastly, we should be most proud of Christianity. So if Christian nationalism is something to be scared of, they're lying to you. And they're lying to you on purpose, because that is exactly the temperature change that is happening in America.
We've had a Christian nation. We've had a Christian West for 1,700 years. And look at where it's gotten us. Is this God's divine plan for Christianity to fail so bad that we have the degradation of society and the degeneracy and the chaos and the suffering and the corruption? Is Jesus and God just up in heaven looking down like, oh, I'm not going to come save them yet? I mean, this is absurd. Everybody is brainwashed under this Jewish mind control spell. It's so obvious.
Today, and they can't control it. They can't control it, and that's what terrifies them the most. You see, nationalism is a good thing.
She says Christian nationalism will be the movement that stops school shootings. Here's the Gab founder, Andrew Torba, who donated a bunch of money to Nick Fuentes' conference, who would appear on True News all the time. Christian takeover of our Christian country has begun. Andrew Torba, who ultimately still worships Trump, who loves Trump. The Christian takeover of our Christian country has begun. They want a Christian takeover, which is really just a Zionist takeover, a Jewish takeover. They think, they claim, they think, they might even believe that they're anti-Jewish, but they worship the Jewish God. No matter how much coping and how much denial and how much rationalizations these guys come up with, there's no getting around it. Here's Michael Flynn. Just the other day I covered it with Mel K, who promotes the Judeo-Christian values, who's QAnon, who's in this QAnon disinfo network, who says Trump, and who always says God wins, too. That's the theme they always do. God wins, and it's the satanic pedophile and the Khazarian mafia, and Trump and Xi and Putin are the alliance, and they're with the white hats, with Flynn. She's been touring around the country with Flynn. General Flynn, who had this exclusive sit-down meeting with Alex Jones the night before January 6th as well.
America, and it's like tithing, right?
Tithing.
So,
tithe sheep, give money to me, and you're giving money to God, like Chuck Baldwin basically said. The Christ grift is strong. It is. I'm telling you guys, I could have gone this way with the Christ is King. I would have had a lot more friends. I would have had a lot more popularity. I would have had a lot less attacks and smears and slander. I would be making a lot more money. I could have likely been on more platforms, not got attacked by the ADL as much.
What we need to do, what I'm asking Americans to do, is give a tithing to America.
To him.
And that tithing, like you give it to your church. And I'll say,
Mel K, who Charlie Ward, all these people, completely astroturf and promoted by all these types, says that the Nazis are secretly in charge. Yeah, Mel K Ultra. Yeah, MK Ultra. She's an actress, half Israeli actress. So that Flynn, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, this girl, I'm surprised she hasn't been on InfoWars yet, but she claims I do no research. I hope she likes all the research in this video. So here's Nick Fuentes, who was in the news. Where is it? In the news today, Jerusalem Post. In the aftermath of the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade, white nationalist leader Nick Fuentes told his followers that Jews stood in the way of Catholic Supreme Court justices who were put on the court to overturn the 1973 decision. White nationalists, Fuentes, Jews stood in the way. They like to cover this kind of stuff which just gives him more publicity and ultimately more attention and notoriety and more followers. I watched them do this with Alex Jones for a long time too. He says the hyperbolic, sensational things, shock jockey type of stuff. He gets media attention, and then they have their boogeymen. They have their white nationalist, anti-Semitic, Christian, kosher, anti-Semitic, racist boogeyman that they can point to. This is why Right Wing Watch is posting clips of them all the time, because they think, number one, it's helping our cause, discrediting the other side. So we're going to play that clip and respond to that.
Last year, if Ruth Bader
250,000 views on the video.
If Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a Jewish woman, didn't die last year, so that Amy Coney Barrett, a Catholic woman, could be appointed to the bench, we would still have Roe versus Wade. Now you tell me that this is a Judeo-Christian country. Now you tell me that this is a Judeo...
Christianity is inherently Judeo. Michael Jones, the Catholic leader and who all these people look up to, literally says in his book that Judaism was the true religion before Christ came. It is inherently Judeo. It is the Davidic king, the king of Judah. Jesus is very clearly the supposed king of the Jews. You're worshiping Jews, thinking that you're opposing Jews. It's just two different sects with minor disagreements over who the Messiah is, but agree on essentially everything else. They're Abrahamic brothers. They're all essentially Zionist.
Judeo-Christian movement. You tell me that it doesn't matter that you have a lot of these Jewish people in government.
Well, that's because of Christianity that's been allowed to happen. I think that the source of their power is because of Christianity, and in their overrepresentation for being only 2% of the population. He's making this a Jewish-Christian issue, but you can find Jews that are pro-life. You can find a lot of Jews that are pro-life. There's some Jews that are claiming the talking point is that it's a Jewish rite, it's a Jewish sacrament, it's the Jewish religion that they're allowed to have abortions, but you can find rabbis and religious Jews who will disagree and say, no, that's not what that verse actually represents. The distinction here is that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was like a radical leftist feminist, woman rights advocate. So you don't have to have a Catholic. This idea that like only religious people are against killing babies and the encouragement and the trendiness and the glamorization of killing babies. Both sides radicalize each other on that political football, which we have exploding right before these elections coming up.
Tell me that it doesn't matter after a decision
and you can find Christians that are pro-choice also.
Like this. Tell me that with a straight face, that it doesn't matter that we had a court that had 4 Jewish people on it, and we had subtract 1 Jewish woman and increase 1 Catholic woman, and now Roe versus Wade is overturned, and 100 million Americans will live in states with no abortion because of that change, because we had a Jewish woman, and now we have a Catholic woman.
You have a left-wing woman, and you have a right-wing woman. You have a left-wing appointed judge, you have a right-wing appointed judge. It's not necessarily because she's Jewish, but that's why they give this attention, because they go, oh, look at this anti-Semitism for making this be your big argument.
Tell me religion doesn't matter. Tell me that this dispute between Judeo and Christian doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. It makes all the difference. This is why it's Christian nationalism. We need a government of...
And it seems... Hold on. I'll rewind this. I try to look at this and think of like what his objective is. Is he just trying to reach hardcore Christian Zionists, the Judeo-Christian values promoters, and that's who he's trying to target with this narrative, saying that it matters? You just can't get away from the fact that Jesus is Jewish, and this book comes from the Middle East, and this is the God that once chose the Jews, and these other things I'm going to show you in a second here. It's like you're still providing more of the problem as the solution. Christianity is the problem, the reason for the Zionist power that we see today.
Christian nationalism. We need a government of Christians.
We have a government of Christians, by the way. Nearly 9 in 10 members of Congress identify as Christians, actually. We've got more Christians in America than any other country in the world. And look at what we've got. We've been the biggest slave to Israel. He's still shilling for Trump like that's a good Christian thing. What do you think we're going to get? More hardcore Zionism from Trump. Cozying up next to Alex Jones, the known Zionist. And I know Nick called him an alt-right merchant a few years ago. He knows Jones is a Zionist propagandist. Why is he cozying up to him and Ali and all these people, Milo, and all these people he's involved with? He wants more Christians. Meanwhile, his Pope, the leader of his organized religion, Pope Francis says inside every Christian is a Jew. So more Christians just means we're going to be more Zionists is what's going to end up happening. Look at Gosar. Look at all these people involved. Look at Mark Burns up there in the Willard with these people. That's what you're going to get. Oh, we need a government of Christians who worship Jesus and the Bible. Jesus says salvation is from the Jews. The Bible says with the Jews and be cursed, bless them and be blessed. The Bible says that the Jews should reign over many Goyim nations and with usury. And it says the Jews are chosen above all the Goyim. This is the book, this is the Bible that you want. You think this is the answer to solving Jewish power?
Ruth Bader nationalism. We need a government of Christians. We need a conservative movement, a nationalist movement led by Christians that obey the Bible and obey God and serve Jesus Christ.
Obey the God of Israel and serve the Jewish Messiah. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it is. There's no disputing it. Worship the God of Israel and bow down and serve and have the Jewish Messiah reign over you, as Paul says. Yes, Alex Jones is on Cozy TV, and Nick has a channel on band.video, which Alex Jones says was created in Israel by an Israeli. Unit 8200, probably, if I had to guess. I wouldn't be surprised.
Tell me why we need people in government that don't serve Jesus Christ. Is that the argument?
He wants everybody in government to serve, to be a slave to the Jewish king, to the Jewish Messiah, to the king of Israel, from Zion.
Well, here, Nick, here's why we need Jewish people in government that don't serve Jesus. Sorry, you're never going to win that argument. You're never going to convince me that we need people in government that don't serve Jesus Christ, the Son of God. You'll never convince me of that.
The Son of God, like, to think that, like, the only way God could save people is by incarnating as his son, but as himself and as a Holy Spirit to sacrifice himself for a blood magic ritual, blood magic scapegoat atonement ritual because of the magic fruit tree curse and the serpent and Adam and Eve in the garden. Like, imagine all the lunatic, ridiculous Jewish mythologies you have to believe to be a Christian and to believe in Jesus. You have to believe in all of the nonsense of the Bible, essentially.
Insofar as there's one God and he has one Son and there is one way to salvation and one way to the truth.
You'll burn in hell if you don't believe in salvation. Salvation from what? From hell and the devil that God created and doesn't have the power to destroy, apparently. Allows the Satan to take over the church and everything according to you guys.
Then that's the way that the people running our society and writing the laws need to be, and no other way.
This is just the type of kosher Christian anti-Semitism that they want for their narratives. Christian anti-Semitism is kosher. It's the talking points that Jews essentially gave to the Gentiles to use against them, to fulfill their prophecy and fulfill the role of Esau, persecuting them, and then ultimately serving them.
We want to live in a Christian country with Christian rulers and Christian legislators and Christian judges and Christian law and Christians. And Jewish people can be here, but they can't make our laws.
Christian laws. This is the guy that shills for the Catholic Church, who rabbis brag was started by Kabbalah rabbis also. The Catholic Church, who's with major pedophile cover-ups, and the Catholic Church, who the Pope says inside every Christian is a Jew. Also, this idea that, oh, we need to get more good Christians like Amy Coney Barrett. The Jewish Journal, the Republican Jewish Coalition welcomed her confirmation. She's highly qualified and dedicated to the law, says the chairman of the Republican Jewish Coalition. Donald Trump made a wide choice in nominating her, and we are pleased that the Senate moved swiftly to confirm her to the court. Yeah, more Christians, guys. That's the answer. That's going to solve things. Rabbi Spiro, president of the Conference of Jewish Affairs, told JNS that Barrett's jurisprudence is to be lauded. I approach the Constitution as I do the Torah, as an originalist. Decisions should be based on and then applied based on the original intent of the text. This is from Chabad's website, Judge Amy Barrett helped protect Chabad's public menorahs. Having worked with Judge Amy Coney Barrett, I have seen her defend the rights of Jewish Americans firsthand, says Attorney Lewin. Amy Barrett worked with me in 1999 and 2000 on behalf of Hasidic Chabad clients. I had and continue to have an ongoing battle with authorities in cities, towns, and villages across the country that attempt to hinder or prevent the display of Hanukkah menorahs on public property by Chabad. Let me read that again. She is defending Chabad, allowing them to put their menorahs on public property. And Chabad is commending her for this. It's funny because Nick Fuentes' buddy Baked Alaska made the news for knocking down a menorah Hanukkah display and saying no Hanukkah things in our country, and they get to kvetch, oh, the anti-Semitism, the Christianity. She defended Chabad putting them on public property. No one contests the right to display menorahs on private property, and no Jewish group other than Chabad Lubavitch, to my knowledge, has tried to erect and display large menorahs on central public locations. Very interesting. Yeah, more Barrett Christians. A few more. And the Catholics will go, oh, well, our Pope is bad, or we don't like him. Or he's the leader of your church. You got a divine ordained, the rock of God, supposedly, the one true Israel. And it's got no supernatural powers at all to get the right interpretations, or to not have rampant pedophilia, or to not elect a bad pope, in your opinion? The pope who pledges to ban anti-Semitism from humanity. Pope says anti-Semitism neither human or Christian, says Pope Francis. And it's been like this since the Holocaust, since the Vatican II. Pope Francis leads Catholic Church in pro-Jewish directions, been happening since Vatican II. There he is with Ronald Lauder and the World Jewish Congress. We remember for the Holocaust, and they basically take responsibility for the Holocaust. They're blamed for the Holocaust. They've apologized. The Pope says that they're bared with the mark of Cain. Pope John the 23rd, the mark of Cain is stamped upon our foreheads. That's the Kabbalistic view, that the seed of Cain, the seed of Satan, is in Esau and Amalek and the Gentiles. The Catholic Pope Francis says inside every Christian is a Jew. And Catholics try to rationalize this and say, oh, that's a Jewish Jesuits' deception that the Zionists live by to deceive people. And I said, no, actually it's true. Here's Romans 3:29. St. Paul, is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also. Their God, their religion first. You're being grafted in. Romans 11:18. Do not consider yourself to be superior to those other branches. If you do, consider this. You do not support the root, but the root supports you. The Jews support you, Goy. That's what Paul is saying there in Romans. All Israel, so you are Judeo, then Christian. The root supports you. Israel has experienced a hardening in part until the full number of the Gentiles has come in. So, in other words, the Jews can't admit that Jesus was actually their Messiah, their anti-Messiah, the Moshiach ben Joseph, until all of the Gentiles believe, or enough of the Christian agenda is moved forward. And all Israel will be saved. As far as the gospel is concerned, they are enemies for your sake. So they're not really your enemies, only according to the gospels. But as far as election, as in they're chosen by God, is concerned, they are loved on account of the patriarchs. For God's gifts and his call are irrevocable. The everlasting covenant that Paul, the Jew, which I got a whole book about Paul written by a Jew. Paul was not a Christian, where it explains that he was fulfilling the role, prophecies of Judaism to bring the Gentiles in to worship and have obedience to the God of Israel. For the Messiah of the Jews, this is all part of the plot. It's a ruse. It's a ploy to be rejected and go to the Gentiles first, following the template of Joshua being rejected and going to rule over Egypt. There's no escaping that you're getting just another version of Judaism with Christianity. You can't have Christian Zionism without Christianity. There's no getting away from it. It is not the solution to trust the plan and think that Jesus is going to save you. That is the deception, the trap that's been laid before you. Anybody that is shilling for Jesus is a Torah shill, a Torah gatekeeper, and they are trying to keep you on the Judeo reservation, stuck in the Zionist paradigm. All right, let's talk about Ali a little bit, the Stop the Steal. He was just top trending yesterday. He testified in front of the January 6th thing, I think for the second time.
Public hearings begin June 9th.
Oh, and disclaimer, this is right-wing watch, so they want to make Christians look like the villains in all of this, and we'll never cover the supremacist rabbis. We'll never talk about the fact that they're all actually Zionist and Israel firsters. It's evil white America, evil white Christians. They're helping. They're almost. I wonder if they're like they take the clips of these Christian anti-Semitism and they put it online and get hundreds of thousands of views and create the news. They really are like basically the other side of the dialectic. It should be Zionist watch in a way, but they just call it right-wing watch and then say that it's Christians and don't give you the Zionist aspect.
Public hearings begin June 9th for the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Among those who are likely to figure prominently in their findings, Ali Alexander, the Republican political operative behind the so-called Stop the Steal campaign.
Let's terrify this town.
Right-wing watch extensively investigated the Stop the Steal campaign ahead of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Here's what you need to know. So who is Ali Alexander? And what is Stop the Steal? On November 4th, 2020, Donald Trump falsely claimed that mail-in ballots were being used to steal the election, and he declared himself the victor. Waiting in the wings was Ali Alexander. He publicly launched Stop the Steal, a campaign to get right-wing activists to discredit mail-in voting, disrupt vote counting, and falsely accuse local officials of stealing.
Hugely promoted by Alex
Ali
Jones.
Alexander served as the lead organizer. He called on his deep network of Republican
Nick
legislators.
Fuentes, Gosar. Hold on, let's back this up. Group chat link to Roger Stone shows ties around January 6th. Oh, here's Gosar. Biden should concede. I want his concession on my desk tomorrow morning. Don't make me come over there. Stop the Steal 2021, Ali. Roger Stone.
Far-right activists.
This guy, I think he was former gay, hugely popular Trump shill. Proud Boys leader there. Mike Cernovich, another Zionist. who's shilled Chabad books, has all types of Chabad connections, Dershowitz connections, was platformed and springboarded by Alex Jones. There's Ali right there too.
To join the effort. These were people he knew through his years in Republican.
Ted Cruz, Koch brothers, the CNP as well. She's going to mention here in a second. I believe the Mercers even gave him money, if memory serves correctly. Let me look that up.
His time as a member of the highly secretive Council for National Policy, whose influential members include the likes of Jenny Thomas.
Jenny Thomas, huh? That's all she tells you is Jenny Thomas. There's so many CNP people. It's like hugely dominant and influential on the right wing. Founded by Tim LaHaye, the wackadoodle author of the Left Behind series, all about the rapture and the end times. Tim LaHaye, who makes documentaries calling Russia Gog and Magog and Putin the Antichrist, and has Tim LaHaye, the founder of CNP, has documentaries featuring Dory Gold, the top Jerusalem ambassador guy, Zionist who spoke at CPAC about his hatred for Rome, which AKA is Edom, saying that to Edom, and Netanyahu in the documentaries as well. Tim LaHaye, founder of CNP, and Netanyahu in Zionist documentaries with Netanyahu.
Include the likes of Jenny Thomas. The campaign targeted Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia, battleground states won by Joe Biden and whose cities are home to large Black and brown populations. Ali Alexander and his cohort held rallies and spread disinformation. Along with Trump, Stop the Steal falsely claimed voter fraud was widespread, even after Trump's own DOJ found no such evidence. So how did Ali Alexander and Stop this conspiracy theory Trump diehards came together under far-right DOJ found no such evidence? So how did Ali Alexander and Stop the Steal contribute to January 6th? In mid-November, far-right members of Congress, conspiracy theorists, Christian nationalists, extremist groups, and Trump diehards,
Zionist, and Zionist-controlled oppositions,
Stop the Steal banner in Washington, D.C. Newly elected Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and
Zionist,
addressed the crowd alongside organizers. Radical conspiracy theorist Alex Jones brought an InfoWars caravan. Members of
I played the speech of Jones there. It was like a preacher. It was like a yelling, raving, lunatic preacher about the end times and Jesus and Christ is King and all the whole thing. If that doesn't give away its controlled opposition, the fact that characters like Alex Jones are promoting it so hard, I don't know what will. Here's Ali Alexander. He says, I'm more pro-Israel than the ADL. He sponsored Christians United for Israel, Kufi student to CPAC, for goodness sakes. He says 100% of his current business partners are Jewish. He's buddies with Andrew Meyer, the Kabbalist. He's was hanging around with Laura Loomer and Jacob Wall, two Zionist trolls, basically. Ali with Fuentes and Alex Jones, organizing all these events that culminating in January 6th, as they all tried to peel away at the last minute. Jacob Wall, Nick, Ali, Baked Alaska. This girl's a huge on Twitter. TPUSA, Zionist, Israel supporter, big time Israel supporter. Ali hanging with all these guys again back in the day. Jacob Wall, such a Zionist troll, who apparently claimed that he got paid $25,000 from Ghislaine Maxwell to defend her in the media. Stop the Steal, Ali said, we will make your Antifa BLM riots look like a playground if y'all try and arrest Trump or Stone or Flynn or Stop the Steal. He says, I'm not your average conservative.
Of the neo-fascist Proud Boys roamed the streets looking for fights.
The Zionist Proud Boys?
In the evening. White nationalist Nick Fuentes and his America First group commanded the crowd's attention. Violent rhetoric became a key feature of these events. During a December Stop the Steal rally, Stuart Rhodes, who's been promoted on Alex Jones's show for probably 15 years or more, the leader of the anti-government extremist group Oath Keepers, called on Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act and declare martial law.
That if he does not do it now, while he is commander-in-chief, we're going to have to do it ourselves later in a much more desperate, much more bloody war.
In late December, Ali Alexander claimed credit for organizing the event that would take place on January 6th, along with 3 congressmen.
I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs.
Alexander spent weeks leading up to the attack calling for rebellion.
Roger Stone, his proteges, Ali, and Jack Posobiec.
He even appeared to call for physical attacks on members of Congress.
To all these weak-kneed Republicans, I say, what would you do if somebody broke into your house and stole something and they were, well, I don't want to say steal in your front yard because I know what we do. Let's say they made it out to the road. I don't want to be accused of anything yet. Let them hear that, yet.
On January 5th, Alexander held a rally by the White House. He said that the Stop the Steal activists were starting a rebellion against the deep state, and he began chants of victory or death.
Victory or death! Victory or death!
Ahead of January 6th, Trump had called for a wild protest at the U.S. Capitol. Alexander had used that to promote his own wild Stop the Steal rally at the Capitol. On January 6th...
I don't think they have it in this video, but Alex Jones literally said that Trump was basically like ordering him and directing him he was following Trump's commands via this whole little Zio network.
Ali Alexander was a VIP attendee at the Save America rally on the Ellipse.
We will stop the steal.
When Trump told the crowd to march on the Capitol, Alexander joined Alex Jones walking past barricades onto the Capitol grounds and up the Capitol steps, where Trump loyalists were fighting their way inside. The two retreated to a terrace overlooking the Capitol. Despite what he had seen up close, Alexander claimed that it was peaceful.
I don't disavow this. I do not denounce this. This is completely peaceful.
But he didn't stop there.
StopTheSteal.us is going to be the home of the rebellion against an illegitimate government.
So you're wondering, what's happened since? Ali Alexander went underground following the attack on the U.S. Capitol. He got kicked off mainstream social media, taking everything from him. One to Alexander, another to the Stop the Steal organization, and a third to Nathan Martin, an associate of Alexander's. In December, he testified for 8 hours behind closed doors. This spring, his lawyer said he would cooperate with the Department of Justice, but the next day, Alexander joined Alex Jones on his InfoWars show to suggest he wouldn't. Alexander has denied wrongdoing and has called Stop the Steal beautiful. January 6th, he said, was a government psyop, a conspiracy to prevent Trump from winning in 2024. His violent rhetoric hasn't stopped either. He mused to Alex Jones that there's time...
Real name Ali Akbar's got a criminal history. There's, I think, pretty credible accusations about him being a little perverted as well, sexual stuff.
Legitimate violence when there's legitimate tyranny. We're likely to see and hear more about Alexander and his coordination with members of... Follow us here and visit right-wing...
So thanks for leaving out all the Zionist aspects about all of that. Right Wing Watch, excellent job. Now, it's so funny that they say that this was engineered by Antifa and stuff. Oh, let's see. Hold on. What do I want to do? Let's cover this. QAnon psychological operation, disinfo campaign, the storm, neurolinguistic programming to set up MAGA to be destroyed. Trump is a Judas Goat Pied Piper who led his sheep to the slaughter.
We will not rest until the horrible and vile ideology of anti-Semitism has been defeated and destroyed. For this reason, I recently signed an executive order to restrict federal funding to any college or university that spreads, supports, or promotes anti-Semitic prejudice in any form.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm. The calm before the storm. We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Give us a hint on your
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
We're also joined by Acting Secretary of Homeland Security, who's done incredibly.
This is at the CMP.
Chad Wolf. Where's Chad?
Oh, and they also had the Clearview, what is that, Peter Thiel, Chabad lawyer connected, Cernovich, alt-light connected creators. Clearview did the facial recognition on the people there as well. This is the guy, Trump's CNP buddy that was at the Homeland Security that was putting out the stuff that white people were the #1 terrorist threat.
Thank you very much, Chad. You're right in the heart of it, and got some big things coming. Very big things.
Got some big things coming. Very big things.
Good job.
That riot was set up by Antifa, by another group called Groyper, which is a right-wing group, but a right-wing group that has a gripe with Trump because he's pro-Israel. They happen to be a bunch of sick anti-Semites.
Yeah, they're the fringe right, crazy, radical ones that are they don't belong.
Imagine still shilling for Trump when you're even taking the blame from Trump's people for what happened.
With MAGA country and Trump supporters.
Some of these guys have been arrested with stuff where they're threatening to kill the president because he supports Israel. It's that bad.
Calm before the storm.
I feel like I had a lot more threads here, and like they're not coming up. Maybe. All right, here's Alex Jones lying about his support of QAnon. QAnon was completely Kabbalistic, completely Judeo, full of Zionist disinformation agents and fake prophet Christians and stuff promoting the Q stuff. And then Alex Jones at the end afterwards says, "Oh, I was anti-Q. Q's bad now." Listen to all the shit he said. He was one of the main. He gave Q a monstrous boost and was connected to all types of Q people.
I didn't mean to go on that rant earlier. I was thinking how much the Q stuff's driven me up the wall and how much it pisses me off, and how then I got accused of supposedly supporting that stuff because it leaks into my show, and then being accused of being part of that because I've got an organization and what my other shows do.
He's talking about me because I had a viral video on Twitter and BitChute of him exposing his lies about how he promoted QAnon. So that was a direct response, damage control to my videos exposing him.
Separately told us by QAnon. So I'm going to say again, I've talked to QAnon. QAnon is totally real, as Zach and our...
Jerome Corsi on those emails with Roger Stone in Jerusalem, longtime CNP, Council for National Policy, Jerome Corsi, formerly worked at WorldNet Daily, ultra-Zionist, Zionist ZOA Defender of Israel Award winner, founder of WorldNet Daily, where Jerome Corsi was a longtime journalist. Joseph Farah there, who's a third temple cultist, is big-time Zionist.
You know, Cape Canaveral sources and
hold on.
As Zach and our QAnon is totally real. As Zach and our Cape Canaveral sources and Space Command sources have pointed out, and people make jokes about that, but that's the 18th agency. You're here. This is big. QAnon.
Amazon?
I know you know QAnon's identity, but
yes, obviously
we're not going to. And I've confirmed as well. QAnon is a group in the Pentagon,
and very close to Donald Trump, military intelligence, specifically Army intelligence, I believe. And I've affirmed, working with the people who run the monitored.
Funny, he also he says this is who Q is, and he also says he's got top connections with above Israeli intelligence and cybersecurity.
People who run the monitored 8chan, QAnon has been using the same trip code, the same IP addresses for his devices. It's the same Q from the very beginning. And when we were decoding him, it was so bizarre. We were decoding
But
Q.
see, you're playing coy here. You know QAnon, so do we. Let's just leave it at that. The point is that Zach is part of the same group, but he's with NASA. And that is the beginning. And QAnon said that 2 weeks ago. And we know who QAnon is, and we play coy about that. But it's Army intelligence and some groups in Florida and others.
Real quick, I was listening to Dr. Corsi last night.
In Trump brags, I've got whole hour-long videos about Alex Jones saying the military told me to get Trump on the show and to do this and help save America from the tricoms and the deep state. He's admitted all of it, that he's connected with this network.
And about all the stuff on 8chan and how releasing, I mean, is that kind of like the ace in the hole?
I've been told by 5 different Pentagon sources, high level, that whole 8chan thing is real and that they're basically forecasting what they'd like to see happen and giving you information. But so that's definitely real. And that's why Corsi's been, I'll let you know because the enemy knows. The White House directly asked Corsi to be on the 8chan beat a month ago.
And follow QAnon.
And that's directly from the White House.
Dr. Corsi is so smart. And then one other thing,
but I mean, what does that say about QAnon? Whether it's, I mean, we're being told by the White House, please cover this. So what does that tell you?
The White House told him to follow QAnon. And that's what he was saying in 2018. And now he wants to deny that.
I didn't mean to go on that.
That he was supporting QAnon on his show. Here's Ali Alexander just on Alex Jones yesterday promoting some Q Zionist talking point about the star charts going on and the planets align and some shit.
But the irony of it is that we're tortured
breaking
by
exclusive news from Dr. Jerome Corsi and his extensive connections in the Middle East, where he served as an advisor to the State Department and more.
So this is like 2017, right after Trump announced moving the temple to Jerusalem, or the embassy to Jerusalem, and declaring it the capital. Jerome Corsi, who was just being hired by Alex Jones to be the Washington bureau correspondent at the time, this is what he came on to say.
A lot of classified areas we can't get into. He has major breaking news exclusive right now. Dr. Corsi, thanks for giving InfoWars the exclusive.
Well, Alex, it's great. I'm actually today in Nashville, Tennessee, and working with a really important cybersecurity company. And I just got text from top intelligence in Israel.
Oh.
Israel has nominated Donald Trump for the 2017 Peace Prize.
Oh.
He was nominated
impressive.
last year. There's about 200 nominations. But this is in advance of Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit with Trump, which is coming up in the next few days. And Israel has decided to make this nomination basically on the decision to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and the fact that Donald Trump has had the courage of his convictions. Again, another promise in the campaign being fulfilled.
Oh,
taking
tired of winning.
Historic, maybe even biblical step.
Taking a biblical step to legitimize Israel to the Jews as God intended.
Legitimate the state of Israel. And the way I read the Bible basically says those who help Israel, God helps, and Donald Trump's on the right side here.
Well, certainly providence that he invoked during the inaugural speech is with our republic. And, of course, England began to help the Jews when they were being persecuted going back 1,000 years ago in Europe. And, of course, it's been known since then. That's why England had so much great providence. And also, of course, the Christian faith in Christ.
Oh, it's been known that the British had such great providence because they supported the Jews. That's what he says.
Being number one, that covenant has clearly been passed on, not just to all the Gentiles of the world through Christ, but particularly to England and the United States. Historians, even people that are anti-Western, have marveled that the United States of America has a special providence, Dr. Corsi.
Yes, well, even when
we're so special because we bless the Jews. That's what Alex Jones has told you.
Israel, I just got another text message.
Marveled that the United States of America has a special providence, Dr. Corsi.
Yes, well, even while we're talking, I mean, Israel, I just got another text message. I said we were going to break the news on Alex Jones' InfoWars broadcast. They said one word. They said, great. They're thrilled we're going to break the news on Alex Jones' InfoWars.
Certified kosher Alex Jones InfoWars.
That comes directly from a source who's really above Mossad and the intelligence structure in Israel.
Yeah, so just no big deal. Above Mossad, top intelligence in Israel is totally approves of your breaking the news here, Jones.
Folks are really getting things raw here on air now.
Yeah, he's busted. Alex Jones, who says that an Israeli built his website, band.video, and just gave it to him. Just said, here you go. Here you go, Jones. Oh, where is it? Oh, shoot. Don't have it. Let's see if website brings it up. Oh, right here. We'll move on to the... There it is.
Yeah, and so this is really, I mean, this is coming in as we're talking.
Yeah, so folks are really getting things raw here on air now.
Look at that smile.
Now, the truth is, we know that Jews are a diverse group of views and ideas, and I'm not against Israel, I'm not against Jews. I'm not going to be sucked in to being in this whole thing, okay? I mean, the ADL now is not even really pro-Israel because they understand this is about globalism. So I don't think the ADL represents Jews. There are a lot of good Jews. I've had Jews help me out with things. I mean, Band.video was designed by a guy from Israel, great guy. He didn't like us being censored, helped us build it. And then was like, here, it's done, have it. I mean, there's so many examples. I'm not going to have the ADL trick me into hating Jews because they make money off that.
That's the trick.
And
that is the trick, though. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to criticize them at all and give them a total pass. He also says the ADL's not pro-Israel. Here's Nick again getting 100,000 views from Right Wing Watch.
Way. We're having The Supreme Court has a blueprint to revisit all those decisions and say, guess what? It's not in there. So that means that banning gay marriage is back on the menu. Banning sodomy is back on the menu. Banning contraceptives is back on the menu.
This is just trolling.
And basically, we're having something like Taliban rule in America, in a good way.
They've been promoting the Taliban meme for a while. They're promoting Zionist, complete Taliban theocracy.
Like a Catholic Taliban rule in America.
Because that's what Christianity has led to. That's what you're going to get. He says he wants to impose Christian laws on everyone in the United States and the world. And really, he says this isn't controversial because this is what Christianity teaches, and it does. As I always say this, they're doing the work of the Jews, getting the whole world to worship the Jewish Messiah in this Jesus deception, this fake rejection in Moshiach ben Joseph and Moshiach ben David and the whole. There's more to it. There's esoteric secrets about this that these Christians want to bury their head in the sand about.
Precisely what we intend to do is to impose Christian laws on everyone in the United States of America.
This is coming from a Catholic, the Catholics who would like burn you at the stake, and how the Bible says tie a rock around the neck and drown them in the water if they cause you to doubt, basically. Who would burn people at the stake, mass murder of all the eradication of all the other non-Abrahamic religions, erasing and eradicating all the pagan indigenous cultures and traditions and cultures and replacing it with worship of the God of Israel. This is what the Catholic Church and Islam did and what they were intended to do and what the rabbis brag about have done.
That is what we have to do as Christians. We have to make sure that like the moon reflects the sun, the state reflects the church. We have to make sure that our normative laws and the laws that are passed by the government reflect the natural and the moral laws written by God. That is our job as Christians. Now, how do you coexist in the government with atheists or Jews that say that pornography is okay? And actually, it's our right to do that. It's our right to watch it. It's our right to make it. And the freedom to do that is our...
You don't have to be religious to see the issues with pornography and OnlyFans-esque culture.
Is the end of society. You can't share those two values. And the same goes for feminism and the role of women, and the same goes for homosexuality and same-sex relationships, as well as...
Look at how the Christian church is holding up against all that. They're all flipping. They're all accepting the Noahide rainbow flags. It's, in fact, I just shared a few minutes ago a new story that just came out. Vatican Pride Month. This Pride Month, Catholic Church shows clear, if subtle, shift toward LGBTQ welcome. Who is it? Christ Cook Pastors on Twitter. He's always sharing a never-ending stream of these Christians that are pro all of these things. I mean, Christianity is argued as communism. Jesus teaches you to give up all your belongings and follow him, and talks about bad being rich, good to be poor to get into heaven.
Transgenderism. Can a person go from one gender to another? And drugs?
Yeah, there's a lot of androgynous beliefs in all of these Judeo-Christian origins.
About everything in the society, these things are in conflict. And this is going to be one of the biggest problems, I think, is that the Jewish people wield this immense influence even over the Republican Party and the conservative movement.
Duh. Because of Christianity.
That is precisely...
Imagine seeing that Christianity is so clearly the problem and the trick, how they've duped them into being their slaves, and then thinking, oh, we need more, we need real Christianity, better Christianity. More of the same that's caused this problem. That's what they're saying is the solution. Jesus is going to float down in the clouds and save you is also what they believe. The original trust the plan. And it's all of them. It's the Catholic Church. It's the Protestant Zionists. Even the Eastern Orthodox are going along, getting AJC awards. This is what you want. Christian law. That's what the answer is going to be. We have Romans 3. What advantage then is there in being a Jew, or what value is there in circumcision? Much in every way. First of all, the Jews have been entrusted with the very words of God. That's St. Paul. That's your St. Paul there. You have to believe Christian law. The Bible says Jews have been entrusted with the very words of God. They are the oracles of God, say the other, some of the other translations. Here's Roger Stone the other day talking about the just loony nonsense, pandering to the Christian audience, feeding them ridiculous disinfo that there's a demonic portal above the White House. I kid you not. With Charlie Ward, a total delusional con artist. Christianity in Hebrew would be Moshiachianity. Abrahamic brothers simping for their king of the Jews. We want Moshiach now. We don't want to wait. That's what they're both saying. Here's a little clip. Zuckerberg gets his inspiration to build things from his rabbi Torah studies. And take note that he says God created his or her, which leads me to think that he's got a Kabbalah rabbi with some type of androgynous, Kabbalistic origin story. Excuse me.
There's a rabbi who I've studied with who kind of gave me this. We were talking through Genesis and the Bible and the Torah, and they're basically walking through. It's like, okay, you go through the 7 days of creation, and it's like, why does the Bible start there? Right? It's like it could have started anywhere, right? In terms of like how to live, but basically it starts with talking about how God created people in her image. Her image. But the Bible starts by talking about how God created everything. So I actually think that there's like a compelling argument that I think I've always just found meaningful and inspiring, that a lot of the point of what sort of religion has been telling us that we should do is to create and build things.
Says the guy who's doing the 3D goggles and Facebook and the metaverse and Facebook development team in Tel Aviv working on digital wallets, cryptocurrency, and unsurprising, I just covered last stream that Facebook bought WhatsApp, the messaging app, from a Jewish guy who I just showed in my last stream is donating his billions in philanthropy to all these Chabad Lubavitch connected groups. And unsurprising that Facebook, Instagram, to ban conspiracy theories on Jews, quote, controlling the world, can't allow any of my No More News was banned for exposing all of the scripture, all of the rabbis, all of their doctrines, all of their supremacist views in their own words from legitimate sources, and it's not allowed. It's all dismissed. Working with the ADL closely as well. And of course, he's inspired by his Kabbalah rabbi, possibly. Studying Torah with his rabbi. I thought he was secular. Wouldn't you think he was secular? Interesting.
And to fight fake news, and that's good news that they're fake.
Prime Minister of Israel talking about threatening Facebook,
fighting fake news, and Twitter start acting. And the leaders of Facebook and Twitter start acting.
At begging for censorship, begging to silence anybody who is noticing what's going on, noticing their religion. Here is the new political representative just elected in Borough Park. That's one of the most Hasidic neighborhoods there in New York. The ultra-Orthodox, probably some Chabadniks there. Chabad is Crown Heights, I think right next door to them. But that is their new elected official representing the 48th Assembly. Penny Ringle. Christian nationalist David Barton is hopeful that in the wake of SCOTUS's school prayer, oh yeah, where's that article? I saw, oh, you guys tired of winning? We're winning. Yay, Christian rights, Christian rights. This is about getting prayers in school. Yay, we're free to bow down and worship the God of Israel. Such freedom. This is what's going to save us. Takes a knee in front of the U.S. Supreme Court after his legal case that he's allowed to pray on the field at the football games. Leading Orthodox group praises reversal of standard in SC ruling on coach's prayer. Chabad has advocated for years for moments of silence in public schools, seeing them as a means for reflection and promoting more considered behavior. They've got the governor Ducey of Arizona just signed a bill where they're doing the Chabad moment of silence, signed it with a bunch of rabbis surrounding him. Also, Ron DeSantis did the same thing, the moment of silence. There's Ducey, moment of silence in the schools. Also, anti-BDS laws, Israel pledge laws, anti-Semitism definition laws by the good Catholic Christian governor of Arizona. Just like DeSantis, hopefully DeSantis comes up. The other Christian hero of the ultra MAGA types. Moment of silence. Yeah, this is what you get with Christians, more Christians in government. Taking private jets with Adelson over to Jerusalem to sign bills. Florida cabinet meets in Israel with is Zionist first mega donor, kingmaker. Oh man, it just gets so exhausting. And they'll say, oh, stop noticing what's going on. Let's see, is there any more about Chabad? Let's read Chabad. The executive vice president of Friends of Chabad said he had mixed feelings about the ruling Chabad has advocated for years, seeing them as a reflection and promoting more considered behavior. The Christian prayer was not quite the same. Assailable. A moment of silence gives each individual right to worship in the privacy of their own mind, even in the... Oh, so there he's like, oh, we want the moment of silence, not the open prayers. And it's funny because there's a verse about not hypocritically like praying publicly and making a big display out of it. But they all love to do that anyway.
Well, how much? Well, teachers can express their faith in public. Well, how much? How much can you express in public? Can a teacher now start reading the Bible in the classroom? We don't know. That's going to be battles to be fought. But at least we have an open door to start walking through some of this stuff. The same with education in schools. So we now have open doors to start taking back some of the culture that we have not. It's been off limits for 60 years. And now the stuff is back on the table. And that's really big stuff. Well, teachers can express their faith in...
So they want dominionism. They want a full Christian takeover of America, just like they're literally like citing Handmaid's Tale for what they want, which we're just going to get. Remember what Michael Collins Piper said so accurately, touting the America First cause, what is really ruled by the Zionist elite. That is so clearly what's going on. So clearly. We got Alex Jones cozying up with Fuentes. Keep them worshiping the God of Israel and Trump. Who's going to debate that? All his groypers will attack me. They'll call me gay. They'll make up lies about me. They'll call me a fed. They'll talk shit. A bunch of anonymous incel sheep. He's promoting the God of Israel. He's promoting Trump. Israel, the greatest Israel's friend Israel's ever had, according to the Jews. Cozying up with Alex Jones, the disinformation agent, Ali, Jay Dyer, the ortho bro that's involved with all these groups as well, who's scared to debate their Christian philosophical leader, Jay Dyer. We're gonna play a little bit of Jones. Jones is shilling, just in case any of the Groypers are watching this. Oh, what? Here's Joe Biggs from Proud Boys, Jack Posobiec, Laura Loomer, Jack Posobiec, who's attacked me, tried to get me banned from Twitter, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, Posobiec, Alex Jones. Let's do a little bit of Alex Jones. Art is the shill. I'm going to check super chats, see if we got any super chats to read while that's loading. Adam, will you have David Duke, Mel Gibson on? I would have Mel Gibson on, but no, I don't want to have David Duke on. He's promoting the Christian Trump Putin stuff, and he's got such a bad reputation. Although I might have to debate him one day, but I don't want to be associated with him. I feel like I have nothing to benefit from that at all. It'll only be used against me. Frog Soup. For millennia they have sinned and continue to sin with no remorse. Instead of changing for the better, they continue their evil and sinning and think that they are forgiven after brutally murdering a couple of animals. It's absurd and sickening. I know, it's not even moral to think of scapegoat atonement. Oh, let me kill this animal and I'm forgiven as long as I believe the blood forgives me. Like it appeals to people with guilty conscience and people that have done evil things. That's why it's so popular in prisons or with people that are drug addicts or depression, all types of stuff like that. It appeals to the mentally weak-minded. And it initially, Christianity spread in the Roman Empire with slaves and the lower class and the downtrodden and old widows. Enemy of Zog says the king of the Kelly pot. Yes, I'm using that on Twitter right now. Adam meant reputations, the Kabbalah bracelet, Derek Redgate. But we're the real Jews. I am Amalek. No more news. Can you please give someone administration privilege? Yes, I'll give you that. Let's see if we can do that. Add as moderator. I am Amalek's a moderator. You got it. Dubious says the Islamic, Khazari, and Jesuit Chicoms are behind all of this. There are only two. Stephen Vivash says there are only two religions. Abrahamism copied most of it from Sanatana Dharma and twisted it into supremacism. They got it from the Greeks. They got it from the Persians. They got it from the Canaanites. They got it from the Egyptians. They got it probably from the East as well, of course. But what's important is what they constructed and how that's worked, and that's been the framework. That's been the Zionist matrix that people have been stuck in. I am Amalek. Can you read me? Come in. Yes, I can now. I'm losing the voice. Saltwater Amalekite says, don't let this bullcrap get you down, bud. Dedicated guys here. Always catch the re-upload and appreciate the hard work. Thank you, Saltwater Amalek. I'm going to mod you too. I am Amalek says, no more news. I'm with Saltwater Amalek on this. Thank you. Christ Stubbs, enjoying the frequent streams. I guess there's never a shortage of BS to cover, huh? I can't keep up. It's a full-time job, literally all the time. Zio Free, don't agree, AG. Jews in power because of money. They support Israel. The money is part of it. The lobbies are part of it, but none of it would have been possible without the history of Christianity. Zio Free again, same one. Zio Free says, money is the problem. Christian politicians who don't love us, love money, love power, APEC, goofy, and slaves. It's not just money, though. They get people elected that are sincere believers in the Christian indoctrination. Zio-free, take APEC, think tanks, fossil fuel, war, complex, etc. out of government. What happened? Separation church and state. Get rid of Education Day. Yeah, I agree. Rassel Frassen, $2 says, my contribution for the day. Thank you. Saltwater Amalek emailed you codes in the music. 4 is going to be all about Leviathan. About finished with the second Guyona Vilna book. Most interesting points on Leviathan in your point of view. That there's 2 Leviathans. That Rabbi Singer and other rabbis have said Leviathan represents Christianity. And there's twin Leviathans, twin messiahs. It's the dualism of the good and the bad. I think it's the twisted serpent and whatever the other serpent was. Can't remember. Masterpiece McCluss says, excellent work as always, Adam. I think Cube RT is pronounced Cubert. Okay, Cubert. Cubert it is. Maybe he didn't care how I pronounced it, or he would have written it phonetically for me. Yeah, Cube RT is awesome. Rassel Frassen, I could imagine Zuckerberg with the curly sideburns, a mustache, bushy beard, glasses, a black goat, a black hat while seeing his clip. Funny. Lisa Renaissance, some rise above the religious dogma. I know, I'm happy that many of you have. So here's a little Jones, just how bad the Jones Zionist gatekeeping and propaganda is. And I've got hours of this type of stuff. Man, I hate when it doesn't blow up the right way. Always when I'm streaming.
I've had the Islamicist groups. I've had the white supremacist. I've had the Hollywood crowd. I've had mainstream media bully me for 20 plus years that I've been on air with litmus test about, do I support Israel or don't I? And I've been very, very clear that I do support Israel. There's videos on YouTube that have been re-uploaded where I said that in 1997.
What I wanted to say is this. I want to say this out in the open. I support the Jewish state of Israel. They have been in that land. That is their land.
And then I would just get bullied online and by leftist publications going, Jones hates Muslims. Jones is a racist. Jones is probably on the payroll of Israel. Never been to Israel. And then I've got all these people bullying me constantly, saying I'm an Israeli agent when I have absolutely never been to Israel. And it was actually their bullying trying to make me be anti-Israel that made me study it more and become pro-Israel. So good luck with all of that bullying that's gone on. Accept our ideology or you're a Israeli shill. Accept our ideology, and all these groups want to bully you that we're going to call you this big power name. We're going to call you an Israeli shill that supposedly has all this power if you don't do what we want. Well, then I am an Israeli shill. There you go. It's not true, never been to Israel, but if it makes you feel powerful, if that takes your power word away, I'll do it. I'm sick of the bullying out there to get on some bandwagon against Israel. People are like, you Zionist filth. This is fake Zionist stuff. You're on the frickin' Zionist payroll. And I just want to say to you people, okay, I am. Okay, I'm on Zionist payroll. I'm just sick of everyone being obsessed over Israel and acting like they actually are the dominant factor. You look at the globalists and the Islamicists, they're the new game in town. They're the new boss. You move aside, Israel. I know, you used to talk about how powerful the Muslims were, and I didn't believe it, but behind the scenes, they run the Federal Reserve, you name it, they're really coming after us.
That's with Leo Zagami, who in his new book defames me and calls me Jewish. Oh, in his book, the first 10 pages, he admits that he's actually a crypto Jew. He's Jewish, former Illuminati 33rd degree Mason, supposedly. So he's Jewish. He attacks me, quotes the ADL attacking me, calling me an anti-Semite, and didn't even watch my video that the ADL was quoting me about, and then goes on to say falsely that I am secretly one of his tribe. Look, here's the Pope. Crown Heights posted this. The Israeli president's assistant, the secretary, an Orthodox Jewish woman, when a person usually greets the Pope, they shake his hand and bow down. But it was her turn to greet the Pope. She said for religious reasons she could not shake his hand, nor could she bow down since he was wearing a cross. The Pope then covered his cross with his hand and bowed down to her. Very base. The Christians are really the answer. The Catholic Church is really doing a great job standing up to Zionist power. Let's see. There's Zagami. There's more on Zagami. Alex Jones was Zagami in studio. He's a huge InfoWars shill. And of course, he's just like the whole theme of his book is like apparently exposing me that I'm wrong and I'm attacking, I'm blaming the Jews when it's actually some other group that's just scapegoating the Jews. The real Jews, he says. And I think, I'm not sure if he's Christian, but he definitely shills to the Christians and to InfoWars. The Muslims run the Federal Reserve, is what he says. And the Nazis are secretly in charge, too.
Now, the communist Chinese basically run this country the last 20 years until Trump showed up. And so the communist Chinese are being evicted. Quite frankly, I'm sick of the obsession with Israel. I mean, I just don't get how there's this right-wing thing, particularly on the fringe of the right wing, that just hates Israel and then just ascribes to it magical powers. And they just use Israel as a political football, like a voodoo doll that all the evil in the world's heaped on, while meanwhile the UN's running.
Oh, they're just the scapegoats. The whole world's just anti-Semitic. That's what Jones says. Marjorie Taylor Greene says, "Bless you, POTUS, and all the people with you who made it possible to move the embassy to Jerusalem and recognize it as the capital of Israel." Hires Milo, friends with Laura Loomer, does the Groyper thing, goes on Alex Jones's show.
Around colonizing countries all over for corporations, murdering entire villages on a daily basis. Just an excuse to point your finger all day long and say Israel's the problem if you fall on a damn banana peel. And I'm not here kissing the ass of Israel. Okay, and then if somebody falls on a banana peel, Jews did it. If somebody falls on a banana peel, a Jew did it. I mean, it gets a little old. It's a big cause celeb, not just with liberals, but with a lot of so-called conservatives, to obsess over Israel, to hate Israel, and to want to destroy Israel. And there's a lot of weird globalist propaganda as a litmus test to hate Israel. I'm just not into the whole cause celeb thing for Palestine. I've been bullied and brainwashed my whole life about it. It's like Israel's the one trendy thing you bitch about it, and no matter what else you do, it's okay. And a lot of people out there have been brainwashed into just obsessing on Israel all day and hating Israel, and it's quite frankly shameful, because you're not intellectuals. All you know how to do is say Zionist, 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 until I want to throw up. This obsession by all these losers with Israel, and it's just all a load of crap. You've got Funyuns and Hot Pockets in mommy's basement and have learned the word Jew and can say it over and over again like a magic word. The extreme right wing's magic word is Jew or Zionist, and all I hear about all day is Israel, 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 Israel. Israel runs everything. Israel put me in charge. Israel wipes my butt in the morning. No, Israel doesn't. But I just don't want to hear Israel bashed anymore. I don't even want to hear the debate or the discussion.
No more debate.
Because it's them trying to set the parameters.
Shut it down.
This obsession on Israel all day. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, we're the ones that are obsessed.
I'm tired of it.
Not all the Christians and Zionists all over the Trump administration that you in your organization.
And so I want to go to David Horowitz now, because I want to just say proudly I agree with 95% of what he's saying, and that I just am proud for all the anti-Semites and the Islamicists and everybody else who've been trying to bully me and tell me what to do and make up crap all these years. What you've said I am is now coming true, because I support Israel's right to exist, and Israel, when it does something, has a crooked toenail. It's the biggest thing in the world. And everybody else is okay. Israel's not going anywhere. They got nuclear weapons, and they're not our enemy. Leave them alone.
They're not our enemy.
Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. Shut it down. You don't get more Zionist gatekeeping than that. I'm sorry, but you just don't. And here is InfoWars, 10 times that God has hit America with a major disaster after the U.S. attempted to divide the land of Israel. Michael Snyder, the Zionist from the American Dream, here being republished by InfoWars. Yeah, there's nothing Zionist about InfoWars. They're only telling the goy that if you don't give Israel all of the Holy Land, that you'll be hit with disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, natural disasters, for trying to divide the land of Israel. You don't get more Zionist than that at Disinfo Wars. Here's Gavin McGinnis also, the founder of the Proud Boys, worked for Ezra Levant, literally went to Israel and did like a propaganda. Rebel Media is run by Jew, you dupes. Also, the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, joins. The Kahani right-wing extremists in Israel, JDL, joins Proud Boys at demonstrations.
Clear, because you both have the same politics at the end of the day. We were in Israel together. We're both basically Zionists, right?
I argue for the one-state solution. We're all household names in Israel. That's why I find the anti-Semitism card hilarious, because I'm like, guys, like, I am more pro-Israel. We both fell in love with the wall. I'm like, Israel gets demographics. That's why they're not naturalizing millions of Arabs in the West Bank.
The wall. She means the border. She means the apartheid border on the stolen land of Palestine. I thought she meant the wall, like the Wailing Wall. I fell in love with the Wailing Wall.
Because they don't want the Knesset to be like...
She's another big, like, trad Jesus shill as well, who is friends with close supporter of Fuentes, I believe, also. He says, I did 10 videos in Israel. David Schoen, ex-Trump advisor Roger Stone, suggested Jared Kushner needs to have a beating. Trump impeachment lawyer David Schoen to represent Steve Bannon. He is the... Schoen is the chairman of the Zionist Organization of America. He represented Trump in his impeachment trials, along with Dershowitz. He also was the lawyer for Roger Stone and Bannon. He's the chair of the Zionist Organization of America. Just another little, paranoid Funyuns in my mom's basement conspiracy about Alex Jones being a Zionist. We got the Q shill, the Kabbalah guru, QAnon, Kabbalah shill. It's completely Kabbalistic. All these people that's supporting this. The whole January 6th thing was such a kosher event. They even did the ceremonial blowing of the shofar. Just every aspect of it, just like every aspect of the Trump administration was Zionist. The storming of the Capitol, blowing the shofar, the Jewish shofar. All right, guys, that is all for today. Look forward to what you have to say in the comments on BitChute and on Odysee. Thank you so much for all the support tonight. So very clearly they want a Zionist world order. That's what it's going to be. That's what they're asking for. More Zionism. Even though they say, oh, we want more Christianity but not Zionism, you can't. They're interlocked. You cannot separate the two. Look at what it has brought us. There would be no Zionism without Christian Zionism. The Abrahamic deception. I really hope people wake up to this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for the support. The chats aren't loading now at all. Temple Denier says, thanks, Adam. Great show. Thank you so much, Temple Denier. Yes, we're all Amalekites, Temple Deniers, the Kelly Pots. Just, but we're not allowed to talk about it. Not allowed to not want to be their Esau servants. All right, share this video. Help me expose Alex Jones and all these Zionist Christians, because all Christians are Zionist. And I will see you guys again very soon. Take care, and thank you so much.